I never thought my life would turn into a cliche, but there I was, standing in the kitchen, holding a crumpled receipt that wasn't mine and a phone that wasn't hers. It started with the little things, late night work emails, sudden girls' trips, the way she'd angle her phone away when I walked by, like I was some kind of stranger in my own home. I told myself I was paranoid until the day I found the hotel key card in her coat pocket, the same coat I'd bought her for our anniversary. That's when I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her, and there she was, laughing, touching his arm, leaning in like she used to lean into me. The worst part, she saw me. Our eyes locked through the cafe window, and in that split second, I didn't see guilt, I didn't see shame, I saw relief. Now I'm sitting in my car, gripping the steering wheel like it's the only thing holding me together, and I realize I wasn't just losing my wife, I was losing the idea of her. The woman I married never existed. I didn't confront her, not then. Instead, I drove to the one place that still felt like mine, the garage. The smell of motor oil and old tools wrapped around me like armor. I picked up a wrench just to feel its weight in my hand, solid, real. That's when my phone buzzed. Her, we need to talk. I laughed, a raw, broken sound. Now she wants to talk? After months of lies? After letting me see her like that? I typed back one word, why? Her reply took 3 minutes. 3 minutes where I stared at the screen like it might explode. Her, because I'm pregnant. The wrench hit the floor with a clang. 2 days later, the doctor's office was too bright, too clean. She sat across from me, fingers twisting in her lap, nervous. For once, she was the one waiting for me to speak. The ultrasound photo sat between us like a landmine. When? I finally asked. She didn't pretend to misunderstand. 8 weeks. I did the math. The same month as her business trip to Chicago. The doctor walked in then, all smiles. Congratulations. I stood up. I need a paternity test. The room went dead silent. My wife's face, pale, the doctor's shocked, and mine, finally awake. The clinic waiting room smelled like antiseptic and regret. She hadn't spoken to me since that day in the doctor's office, just texted the time and address like I was some contractor being hired for a job. Paternity test 9 a.m., bring ID. I arrived early. She arrived late, with him in the passenger seat. My hands curled into fists when I saw his designer sneakers hit the pavement. He looked like the kind of guy who called women females and bragged about his protein intake. Exactly the kind of asshole I'd pictured. She avoided my eyes as they walked in. He didn't. Hey man, he said, like we were at a fucking barbecue. I turned to my wife, ex-wife, soon-to-be, and said the first words I'd spoken to her in 11 days. Does he know this could ruin his life too? 3 weeks later, the envelope arrived on a Tuesday. I didn't open it, not right away. First, I drove to the liquor store, bought the cheapest whiskey they had, the kind I hadn't drunk since college. Then I sat at our kitchen table, my kitchen table now, and poured 3 fingers into a coffee mug. The paper tore too easily. Results: 0.00% probability of paternity. I exhaled for what felt like the first time in months. Then the doorbell rang. The whiskey burned in my throat as I walked to the door. Through the peephole I saw my brother Jason, holding 2 6-packs and a pizza. Saw the news, he said, nodding at the envelope in my hand. Figured you shouldn't be alone tonight? I let him in. We didn't talk about her, not until the 3rd beer. when Jason slid a business card across the table. Best divorce lawyer in the state. She'll take her to the cleaners. 6 months later, the judge called it one of the most clear-cut cases of infidelity he'd seen. I kept the house, the dog, my dignity. She got $0 alimony. Turns out quitting her job to travel with her soulmate looked really bad in court. 1 year later, the realtor's sign went up today. I'm selling the house. Too many ghosts. But as I packed, I found something under the bed. Her old journal from our first year dating. Flipping through the pages, I saw a note I'd forgotten. Mark brought me coffee in bed today. I think I'll keep him forever. I laughed, not bitter, just free. I left the journal on the counter when I walked out. Epilogue, new keys. The new apartment smells like paint and possibilities. My rescue mutt, Duke, is chewing on a squeaky toy in the sunlight. And on the fridge, a postcard from Greece. You were right, the coffee here sucks. Still glad I came. Lena, my physical therapist. The one who didn't flinch when I told her the whole story. I tucked the card behind a magnet, not rushing, just open.